went off to their initial carcass to feed and had a little snack, and now he's on his way back. So beautiful to see them on the move. You get a real idea of how big and strong they are. In the background you can hear a and Jason will show you there's some impala alarm calling where he's just walked past. There they go, and if you watch closely you'll see the alarm call that the impala does. I'm sure you'll do it again. Again, a very interesting, oh, the lion's on a tree. I'm busy watching the impala and the lion's on a tree. Oh, and then he just jumped off. Too much going on. Alarm call, it's useful for us in finding animals. When we hear this alarm call, it helps us fine-tune our movements and locations in order to track down these animals. And the good news is, now we shall be treated to another rebonding or rekindling of the just look at that. You can see the tension's really perked up by these two cats. And I don't think they can see their brother yet. He's still on the way, but he's close by. I can hear Scott's vehicle behind the brush. But what's happened is, as they were moving back, as you could hear from Scott, there was lots of alarm calls. Impalas are going shh, 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 calling. There I can see Scott coming in. And these lions are looking at those alarm calls. And as they're looking, why are those impalas making noise? They probably suspect it's their brother. But at the same time, you young nomadic lions, technically in the territory of other big males, you've got to always be aware of potential threats. Let's just see. See Scott's coming in. I really want to try and get this greeting ceremony, if you want. And the other male arrives. It's a bit forward view, so you're going to be playing musical chairs there for a bit. Right, I think the best view for us for now is this guy. We'll see if the other one comes through, but these two are beautiful, just looking a bit alert. Okay, so the other one has joined. Scott can see the one. We've got these two that we're looking at, and we've got one that's sort of lying down in the middle at the moment. It would be awesome if these five decide to bond a little bit, but we're just letting us know the other two have just gone flat cat again. So, lazy days, lazy mornings. Can't blame them. We all like to sleep in a little bit on Sunday mornings. Especially when you've got a belly full of food. Beautiful. Just look at these guys. You can see the mane is not full yet. Now mane can vary slightly. I mean, I've seen lions as young as 2 years old. I remember in Pilansberg we had this one pride that had amazing lions in it, and these guys are still in the pride, still cubs essentially, or sub-adults really, so 18 months to 2 years old, and they had a beautiful mane already. These ones, difficult to say exactly, but as I said earlier, I think 3.5 would be quite close to the correct age. They've got that nice full mane on the neck, and you can see it's starting to fill out around the face and that little mohawk at the top. But even between the two males, and they would be almost certainly brothers or definitely cousins from very, very close litters in terms of age. Even between these two you can see a difference. And between brothers you often see that. I mean, I've seen lions grow up from cubs to adults, and one male will have nice dark full mane and the other male might have slightly lighter or different colored mane. So there is genetics to it, but the same as you can have a brother and a sister, one blonde and one brunette, same you can get with lions where it varies a bit. But because these guys are 5 lions, they're not a coalition of 2 or 3 as is typical, they might start pushing well, not might, they are. I mean, they're getting quite bold, pushing into this area. They're basically at the moment pretty much on the grey zone, if you want, where there's a territory overlap from the Matimba males, which would be further east typically, and the Majingilayan males, Majingilani, I almost say that. It's a bit of a tricky name for me still, that one, which are further to the east of us. At some stage or another, there will be some sort of confrontation between these guys. But that's far ahead in the future. For now, they've got food, they've got a nice cool day. I'm sure they don't mind not being so hot. That's why they're just lying out in the open. And life is good. Very good. Right, well, I think this one's about to flop over as well, just to fly there to chase away, and he's probably going to sleep just like his brother. But let's just give you a view around. Scott is this side as well, as we said, with the other two. Have a look that side, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the morning.
Welcome back, folks. We are back in the initial position where we started this morning, and this male that you can see grooming himself is the same male that we followed to their old carcass earlier, and he did come back and have a good old head rub with one of the other coalition members. That member's lying in the bush just behind him, but it's quite thick, so sadly it's not a very good view. Look at those teeth. So he is lying up next to another one of his coalition members. There's another one behind us that I can see, and now that I look back I can actually see another one on the move. So with a bit of luck, the one that is on the move, it's heading in our direction, will come over to greet the individual that left and I guess get an update on how his little adventure was. Sadly, the one that's coming also is in very thick vegetation coming through it, but it will pop into screen, and it's doing exactly as we hoped. It is coming right across to greet the next individual. Shortly, I think, yeah, Jace, it's going to pop into frame. There he goes. And wonderful to be sharing this sighting with Piet and Willem, the first sighting that we've enjoyed together. They found a very nice spot over there, sheltered and shady for if the sun does pop out later. Oh, his man got a little bit tangled up in that thorn tree. Just going to get one quick photo of Piet here with the lions in the foreground so he can show his grandchildren one day. He sadly moved out the frame. Okay, so the beauty of having Piet here with me is that we've got different angles with which to provide you, and apparently Piet has got himself in a better spot than me at the moment, so over to Piet.
let them now begin move. Great. It's so beautiful to watch them, and also nice to, I could literally hear Scott on the other side, to see that male coming in and how he greeted each of his brothers, or as I said, possibly cousins. I don't know the exact history of these males as cubs. They've only been known once they're in the area. But very important, that bonding, and you could see him walking up, putting his face right up against his brothers, and then rubbing their faces together. I'm sure Scott was telling you about quite a bit of this behavior, but they've got these scent glands in the whisker area, and they rub their scents on each other as well. So they always literally smell each other on their own faces. So let me just move a little bit, see if we can get a slightly better peek at these guys. Oh well, back to sleep. Just see Scott and Jason in the background there as well. Fast asleep. That's what you do. Not his most flattering angle perhaps, but that's one full belly of meat. Guys, and this is literally what these guys will do for the next, it might be as long as 3 days. I haven't actually seen the carcass. It must be around here somewhere, but I presume there's lots left on it, because they only the day before killed another buffalo. So they have so much food for the next while that, I mean, if we're lucky, they might stick around there for 3 days, 4 days. At the least 1 or 2 days still, at the most 4 days, or I think 5 days might be a bit long. But they will stay until the food's finished. I mean, I've seen lions on big carcasses, things like elephant, giraffe. They'll be there for a week, 10 days. Hi Debbie, nice to hear from you again. Debbie's got a very valid point there. She's just asking if these lions move quickly, or need to move quickly, and their bellies are as full as it is at the moment. So the main thing for that would be if other lions walked in here. Let's say the Matimbas suddenly arrived here. Would they be able to fight, or would they be able to do what they need to do, whether fight or flight, depending on what might be called for. Debbie, yes, I mean, adrenaline, as we all know, is an amazing thing, and believe me, when you lions in another lion's territory and suddenly those males arrive, you will be full of adrenaline, because those lions will not arrive bearing gifts. They will arrive with a very serious message of you need to leave here immediately, and confront as well. It's an interesting question, Debbie. That'll depend a lot on what's happening. I mean, leaving immediately, running away would be one option. But they're 5 young males. 5 is a very powerful coalition. The Matimbas in this area, for example, even though there are 5 originally in the coalition, there's typically only 2 and sometimes 3 of them in the area. So if 3 males arrived in, you've got 5 guys here. Even though they're younger, they would be pretty confident. And yeah, I think they'd be able to move, maybe not quite as elegantly as they would if they were lean on the day. But they would be able to do something, and certainly retaliate if need be. Think of it this way, at least they'll have the weight advantage at the time. And Scott just moving there in the background. These guys are super relaxed, which is brilliant. It means you can really get to experience their natural behavior, but also, I think what Scott's trying to do there is get us maybe a slightly more flattering view of that lion than the one we're experiencing at the moment. There is that old question, why do lions lick their own tails? Because they can. So I think let's get the better end of the deal from Scott's side.
So, welcome back again. I promise you, just a few seconds before you did come across to me, that we had a perfect view of this individual who's now just put his head up and started doing a little bit of grooming. And he's just changed positions, which leaves us to be able to pan around. So let me give you updates on the general kind of scene that's here. There's 3 individuals lying in this, under the small little shelter of vegetation that they found, and then further away, about 20 meters to our right, we can see another individual. I'm not sure how. Oh, there we go. Jason's all over it. So that one over there, I think, wins the award from the most comfortable member of the coalition at the moment. He looks like he's winning. And then even beyond him, about 50 meters behind him, is the other one lying down. It would be difficult to see, I think, from the angle of where the camera is now. But if Jason just pans up a little bit, yeah, we can get a glimpse of him there in the background. So they are quite spread out. So, not a hell of a lot going on here at the moment. However, it's probably worth one of us staying here, and in case something happens, we never know what will happen. I think Pete's going to come across to me now, and we're going to decide who's going to stay and who's going to go and search for some other action. Very nice to see the other team members out on drive.